Good morning, Slop Nation, and welcome to Slop Chop. This is a new podcast about the happenings of the internet. It's hosted by me, Harvey Mulvihill. It's about to happen. I already told you that. Welcome. This is another late night recording episode of this beloved podcast. I'm going to be doing the ASMR voice because there's people sleeping very close to my face, very close to my speaking head right now. Lots of controversy about the Oliver Tree episode last week. So here's what happened. I think I did myself a disservice by clipping things that I knew would be inflammatory and without the proper context. I intentionally kind of shot myself in the foot because I found stuff that, again, I knew would be spicy. I found like clips from the pod that were going to be a little bit divisive, and I removed the context from them because context is hard to add into a TikTok. TikToks have to be short, like 30 seconds. And so I was like, what if I just put the part where I'm kind of joking about the tragedy, right? Which was not ideal, not my best move, but lots of negative comments, which is par for the course. But then people in my real life started reaching out to me. It happened not once, not twice, but 3 times. 3 times people in my real life, who I know, actually one of them was an internet friend, but still, reached out and said, hey man, just so you know, I love you, but that was tasteless and no good. So you got to do some self-reflection when you are put into a bind like this, like that. And if you are a psychopath, you go, fuck those people. I know what's best. I know what's funny always. And I am infallible. But if you are not, then you go like, well, maybe I missed the mark. Maybe I fucked up. And then I also, truly in my heart of hearts, like didn't have a whole lot of love for the guy. I didn't dislike him at all. But I just didn't, he wasn't like one of my guys, you know what I mean? But with that said, I have felt that way about celebrities in the past, and celebrities that have died. So I do get feeling really hurt by a celebrity passing. And after I posted the podcast, so I recorded that podcast like the day after the dude died, and posted it shortly thereafter. And then after I posted the thing, I went back and just binged all of his videos and stuff. And I felt all the sadness that everyone else felt when they heard the news. I felt that like 4 days later, because I actually did a deep dive into his stuff, and I was like, oh shit, this guy is really, really creative, super talented, and extraordinarily unique, which I said plenty of in that original podcast from last week, but I didn't feel it until recently. You know what I mean? I didn't feel it really. And so it took me actually diving into the stuff, into the material, to feel it. And so now I am regretful of the tone of the clips. I stand behind the podcast in its entirety, completely. If you go back and listen to the podcast, I was not shitting on Oliver Tree. I wasn't. If you go back and listen, it's pretty fair, in my humble opinion. It's fair, dude. I'm basically, the thesis of that video podcast is like, it sucks that this guy's dead. And it sucks. And, you know, you make jokes about it, whatever. Gallows humor. But it sucks that he's dead. And so I stand by the finished product completely. But the clips were questionable, so I deleted many of them. But you know what? I'm also, you know, you can never, I talked to a friend tonight who said, this is simply something you couldn't have learned except by doing it, you know? I had to go out, push the envelope a little further than I was comfortable with, try to create some agitation. And then, you know, you receive the agitation from strangers. And that is like, again, par for the course and expected. But then you receive agitation from people you know in real life. And you go, oh, well, that doesn't feel good. And I respect these people's opinions. And they're telling me that I was off the cuff. So maybe I was off the cuff, you know? So yeah, you know, I don't think I'm not going to be shit on the guy who just died podcaster. That's not my vibe. I will make jokes when appropriate and when inappropriate. I'm not making any declarative statements, but I'm just going to be more conscious of that in the future, especially with like the recently deceased. Like too soon is a real thing because people are like actively mourning, and much like Alex Jones and the Sandy Hook victims. Like there is a period where it's not chill to shit upon a thing or a figure or a human that has recently passed away, because people are like bummed about it right now. Everyone will forget in a week. Everyone will forget in a week, but until then, people are sad about Oliver Tree. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. No, obviously people will be sad for quite some time. I am still sad about Norm Macdonald. It's been like 5 years or something now, and I'm still sad about it. Not every time, I'll watch his stuff and just remember how much of a genius he was. But I'll see like a photo of him or something, and I'll be like, ah, fuck, man. Fuck. He's dead. Damn it. So I do get it. And, you know, I'll pay more attention to that type of thing in the future. And I appreciate genuinely the people who reached out to me. You know who you are. Thank you for, I almost said holding me accountable. That's cringe and no good. But thank you for calling me out, dude, when you like didn't agree with the thing that I said. Instead of like putting me on blast online or ignoring it and just festering resentment within your psyche for your dear friend and podcast host, Harvey, you decided to call me on the phone. So shouts out to you guys. Or you DM'd me on Instagram, which is also good. Thank you for doing that. So shouts out to Oliver Tree for dying and creating a bit of a controversy for me. This is the closest that I've come to... like, okay, this is in peak woke in 2020 or 2021 when people were getting canceled for... Comedians were getting canceled for shit they said or like things they tweeted 10 years ago. That stuff, I got a little sliver, like a tiny taste of it last week with this stuff. And it really, really felt bad and really hurt. And again, 2 people in my real life were the ones that reached out. And probably 30 people left angry, nasty comments. And so if you just extrapolate that little sliver to what must feel like the entire earth, you know, like when Shane Gillis got canceled for SNL for like the Asian slurs. Again, that was a total non-issue, but it must feel crazy when like the New York Times is reporting on you, when like legit publications are putting in work talking about you and how much you suck ass and how much you should take your own life or whatever. And like there's hundreds of thousands of people that are all in unison saying fuck you. That has to be really tough and excruciating, actually. That's got to be really, really brutal. Luckily, we are past that era, and I don't think when we do get woke too, I don't think that's going to carry on with it. I think we're going to leave that one in the past, the cancellation deal. I don't think anyone gives a fuck anymore. Or the pendulum will swing back to the left. It's possible it will. But I'm so much happier as a comedy fan, so much happier these days when that's not happening. You know what is still happening, though? Rarely these days, but still happening, is comedians complaining about the non-existent cancellations. You just can't say anything these days. That narrative that was so popular years ago, I saw a reel of a guy doing that like this week. Like talking about how you can't say shit. I was like, bro, you can say anything that you want. Have you ever heard of a little podcast called Lemon Party? If you are under any sort of inclination that people are getting canceled these days and that the woke Jew liberal mafia media is coming after you for peppering in some light slurs into your material, go watch Lemon Party and come back to me with that opinion. To be fair, they did get kicked off YouTube. To be fair, they got kicked off YouTube. But those are the funniest guys that exist on the platform. It's the funniest podcast. And it's the most complete, like they are next level. I have a signed Lemon Party poster on my wall. And every time I glance at it while I'm podcasting, it makes me want to push the envelope further. But then I realize that I am in a totally different position than those guys. A, they're a lot funnier than me, obviously. But B, I'm employed. I have a day job. I have a place of employment. And I'm not willing to risk that employment for pushing the envelope. If the day ever comes when this podcasting thing is profitable and potentially becomes self-supporting, or if I could live on it, do the Patreon model, do one public episode a week, one private. That's the ultimate goal, right? That would be the shit. Then we'll be able to get a little spicier. But until then, we gotta keep the training wheels on a bit, fellas. Wouldn't you agree? By the way, you might have noticed, eagle-eared viewers, listeners, may have noticed that when I don't have a whole lot of slopics for the week, I talk a whole lot about the podcast itself and how I'm feeling about podcasting. And that shit might be annoying and cringe. I really don't know the answer. I'm so self-absorbed in my bubble. It's interesting to me because it's me. And it's my podcast. And I like to hear about it. I like to hear about it, you know? God, I have such interesting things to say about my podcast on my podcast. If I could suck my own cock, it would be a fucking great time to do it right now. You guys have tried that for sure. Everyone's tried. I don't remember a lot, you know, it's like right after you figure out about beating it, you try to suck your own cock and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It works for some people. Some people have the gift. And this is it's a storied topic here on Slop Chop, that being autofellatio. It's an unending sort of unceasing well of material. You can never really truly expend all of it. It's kind of like a penis that you're sucking, and it's your penis, and it just keeps coming and coming and coming and coming. It just keeps nutting forever. That's kind of like what this topic is, you know? But there are people out there that can blow themselves, and you have to have a couple of you have to have a substantially sized piece. Substantial. 8 inches minimum, unless you are a contortionist. Unless you're like one of those freaks that they hire for horror movies that can, put their own head in their asshole or put a foot through an earlobe or whatever the thing is. Unless you're one of those guys, you have to have a freaking hog on you. And I never did. I never had the flexibility, but much, flexibility you could theoretically learn. You can't learn how to have a giant hog. Didn't work. It's a God-given gift, and I never had it. But yeah, you also had to, like, your positioning has to be correct. And I've seen it done a couple of ways. You can either just do the classic, like, you know, the first thing you try when you're 11 and you try to put your own, let's stay with me, fellas. Stay with me. Let's continue talking about this topic. The first thing you try, obviously, is you do like the crisscross applesauce and you just kind of like lean down. But that's amateur hour shit. What you need to do is use gravity to your advantage. So a lot of people they'll like, you know, let's say you trying to describe this without a visual. You lay down on your bed like you normally would, but then you turn 180 degrees so your feet are facing the headboard, and then you scooch your ass all the way to where the headboard is, okay? And then you put your feet are now in the air and you're at like a 90-degree angle with the headboard. Then you push yourself even further so that your 90-degree angle becomes sort of like a square. Your head facing upward towards the ceiling. Your torso is now up in the air and your legs are shooting off coincidentally, the direction that they were originally intended to shoot, meaning like down the bed. So now you have a sort of a square, and your your cock is hanging as close as it's ever going to be to your mouth, right? That is the ideal position for autofellatio. And you're just not going to know this stuff until you sit down and you study with podcasts like Slop Chop, you know? You're going to walk around not knowing how to suck your own cock for real. And the position that I just described, by the way, is going to make up for, you know, 15 to 20% of the general flexibility. Like, you could do probably a year less logo. You could do probably a year less yoga just using this one technique. And what's crazy is so many people don't know about it. Like, you see so many videos. By the way, I'm talking about this as if I'm an avid AF person. AF being autofellatio. I'm not. I know the acronym, but it's not something that I'm searching a lot. I truly am not, I promise. I would tell you if I was. But I used to. I went through a phase. I was interested in it. It is interesting. It's kind of just morbidly curious. Like a freak show. They used to have bearded ladies and 8-foot tall dudes. And they probably had a third guy who was sucking his own cock. You know? Like, it's just interesting. It's like, whoa. It's like, wow. You know? A similar thing where Eric Andre was talking about the... by the way, I must interject and say, how crazy is it? Like, the comment that you see under every Eric Andre video, you can't spell the American Dream without Eric Andre. And then it's his full name is right in the middle of American Dream. It's crazy if you've never seen it. Write it out. It's wild. But anyway, he was talking about, like, someone asked him if he ever had to cut anything. And he said, yeah, we had this bit where it was like John Hamm or something just on the couch, and they were talking, and they would have a female to male trans person come up naked, and then a male to female trans person would come into the studio and they would fuck. So like a female to male. Wait a minute. Yep. Male to female would fuck a female to male trans person. It would just be fascinating to watch. I've never looked that up. It's definitely a category. It's definitely a category. Not my cup of tea, cup of jizz, personally, but fascinating. Again, there's so much porn that's like, just curious. You're like, huh? Just like, wow. There's a whole web. I mean, there's websites dedicated to this, but eFucked is the king. EFUKT for those who are unfamiliar. Where their whole thing is like funny porn clips. Oh man, so many that we passed around in college. I'm not going to get into them, but like hilarious things that we would quote constantly. Yeah. Anyway, you do feel kind of bad for these porn stars. Porn star is a very flowery term. Sex worker is probably more accurate. They are not stars so much as they are pieces of furniture. They're like, but anyway, there's a ton of fun to be had on that website. Shouts out to eFucked. Haven't been there in a while. I've kind of lost my taste for fucked up internet videos a bit. I might have grown out of. I'm not going to say I've grown out of it. I would just say that the rate in which I used to consume that content, it's decreased dramatically, bro. Dramatically. I'm really not out there looking for factory death videos and, like I said, porn weirdness. I'm just like pretty vanilla these days with all my extracurriculars. Oh, you know, you dabble, you dip your toe into the death videos every once in a while. I still follow a couple accounts on Twitter. And it's funny because they're always adult restricted or whatever. You have to click it. You have to click view to see the thing. I've never not clicked view on one of those, not once. The purpose is to avoid seeing disturbing content. You know, if you're scrolling at work or whatever. But what I do is I just turn the brightness down. And I like just do a glance to the left and right. And then I press the view. I press view. What am I going to not see the thing? The other move is like if you're in a legit public place and that would be not ideal, just bookmark it and come back later. But like there's so much desire to see whatever the post is in the moment. But when you bookmark it and come back, you're like, what? Like your brain is really telling you that it's very important. It's fascinating how our dopamine receptors work that way. Another super annoying recurring thing that Twitter loves to do. You open the app and it's it always happens when the app had been opened previously. So it's not a fresh Twitter. You had it open 3 hours ago. You are opening it again now. And you see a tweet right at the very top. And you're reading it and it's juicy. And then your page refreshes and it's gone forever. And you will never see it again. And again, your brain latches onto it. Your brain is like, fuck. Like it's like withdrawal almost. Removing it strikes me as similar to like what you hear from teachers these days about iPad kids, where if you remove their iPad, they have like a visceral, like you're removing heroin from a junkie. And it's just you're microdosing that with the one post thing where you dangled this post in front of me and now I can't see it. They got to get rid of that. Why do they still have that feature? It's not a feature. It's a feature, not a bug. It's maybe they're making us microdose withdrawal from social media. Perhaps Elon Musk is a legit the savior of humanity after all, but he's just focusing his efforts on more covert operations such as this. Everyone thinks it's the SpaceX and the floating satellites. What are they called? The Elon drones. Starlink. But no, it's not. He's actually just preparing us for the eventuality of coming to terms with the fact that social media makes you sad and you don't want it in your life anymore. And you're going to experience those withdrawals. He's just giving you little bits and pieces of it before you have to experience it for real. I was talking to a guy yesterday who I think I'm going to have on this podcast because I'm a big fan. I was talking to a guy who bricked his phone intentionally. Had like he would talk about this, like the process addiction, or the exact same thing that I have, for the record, where he would just open. He was like, it was gross. I used to just open the same 4 apps over and over and over again. I would waste hours and hours a day. I would, I'd open YouTube with the intention of getting an editing tutorial or whatever, and I would, I'd be stuck in a shorts loop for 90 minutes, and it just happened over and over, and I got tired of it, and then I decided to quit. And there's like apps that you can download to brick your phone and make it just a dumb phone, right? So here's a guy in real life that's done that thing that many of us have threatened to do. Many of us have threatened to get the dumb phone and do it for real. But there's always that one, like, the hanging on sort of, well, I would do it, but I need fucking TikTok for work. Well, I would do it, but my Google Calendar is connected to my iCloud, which is like, I need for, whatever the thing is. They do got you by the balls, bro. They got you by the balls. They got me by the balls. Should not exclude myself. They've got us by the nuts. And I don't anticipate changing anytime soon. It's also not making me sad enough to change. There's other things in my life that are making me sadder than the social media, I think. And I want to address those things. Also, I started a podcast about it. You might have noticed. Started a podcast about the stuff, and so it'd be tough to quit now. Perhaps I've locked myself into a sort of never-ending cycle where I have to have slop for the week. But do you have to have slop for the week? I don't know. There's not a whole lot of slop this week. I'm still talking. Yeah, maybe I don't. Then we rebrand. We make it a movie podcast like I was originally thinking of. Nah, I'm not doing that. At least for now, dude. Slop is too good. It's too nourishing. It's fucking beautiful. Same buddy that called me about the Oliver Tree thing. He was giving me ideas. It was Jake, by the way. So shout out to Jake if you're listening. He was giving me ideas for a potential new logo. And I do love the slop bucket. But picture this. It's my teeth, braces, with like slop, probably rainbow slop, like dripping out of like teeth with braces on. That'd be pretty fire. That'd be pretty fucking sick, man. The issue is that I'll only have braces for another 6 months, and then after that, the logo will be obsolete. But how do you get the slop across? How do you know it's slop? Why isn't it? It could just be cum, right? That would also work, I suppose. But yeah, you need like holding a bucket with the braces like on top of the bucket, maybe. I don't know. We're gonna workshop this. It's also something that I definitely do not need to be spending money on right now. Is like a new logo for the podcast. But it is fun. You like when you're doing a thing like this, you do like all the superfluitives. Definitely not a word. You like all the other stuff. I want all the equipment to be fun. I want the software to be good. I want all the fluffer, the stuff that's fun to buy. Because buying things is just... You guys tried this? Buying shit? Whew. It feels fucking good, brother. It feels fucking good. Highly encourage it. Especially big, expensive purchases, ideally that you can't return. It doesn't actually matter, come to think of it, if you can or cannot return it, because you won't return it. You don't fucking return it. You keep it, and you just put it like in the corner of the room where you, with the other pile of shit that you may eventually get around to using. Especially if it's like a new electronic or something that it doesn't turn out to be quite as useful as you'd hoped. And you go, well, maybe a different version of me in the near future will really appreciate having this third monitor that doesn't fit on my desk. I had 2 and that was working fine. And I thought, what would be great? 3. And then I tried it and I was like, oof, I hate that. I never use it. This is an example, just a hypothetical. My dog is coming up and demanding to be pet. Dude, my dogs were coming in. Actually, just one dog in particular was covered in burrs, like those pokey fuckers, the other day. And I was like, did someone take him specifically? Because there's 3 dogs in the house. Did someone take just him on like a nature preserve excursion? Why is Toby only have burrs? But no one said they took him anywhere. And then we cut to today, and Dixie, our other dog, the white one, covered in burrs. I'm like, what the fuck? So we have burrs, bro, growing in the backyard. What kind of country ass shit? What kind of fucking hillbilly, back roads, ass rape with the pig squeak like a piggy shit is this? I live in a suburb of Dallas, Texas. We should not have this level of like, this is like, my property does not smell like cow manure. There's no chickens anywhere, bro. Why do we have birds growing in our backyard? What the fuck? It actually makes me think that we tracked them in from the country somewhere. We accidentally brought a burr like from the ranch, and then like haphazardly someone decided to toss it into the wind, and like what is that? Forrest Gump. The camera follows the note that's flying in the air. Is that a feather? What's it in Forrest Gump? The camera follows the burr and it lodges itself into the soil and it sinks and grows. And you have a time-lapse situation and it grows into a healthy bush and we ignore it. And then it just spawns thousands and thousands of little pokey ass fucking birds that get stuck in my dog's hair. And you know what's it's unfair, but it's true. I actually love my dogs less when they have that shit in their fur. My love for them decreases. I don't want anything to do with them. I demand they leave. Get out. Get out. I don't want you here. Go take care of that shit and then come back. I have the same thing to Toby, who we were discussing earlier. The first burr having ass dog. He has this issue where he gets shit stuck to his asshole. Like caked on like a dingleberry. And it literally makes me love him less. It does. And he has no control over it. As a matter of fact, it's my issue because it's my dog. And he can't do a thing about it. But then he's like super cute and I love him. And he turns around and he's got shit ass. And I go, oh. And it does make you wonder. It does make you wonder if parents deal with this. Do parents hate and resent their children for things that their kids can't control? Your brain jumps to like a disability, but that's not what I'm even talking about. I'm talking about like snot nose or something. When they're like a toddler They've got like just like shit, like snot in their nose. Do parents ever just like go, ugh? Like a 2-year-old running around. Their parents just like, ugh, clean your nose. It's disgusting. That has to happen. I feel like I would do that. Parents, if you're out there, please let me know if that happens. Or are you just a beacon of forgiveness, and are you an angelic figure who cleans their nose without every single time you clean their nose without a second thought, and you just think always and forever about how much you love them and how life-changing and incredible it is? And I'm sure it is life-changing and incredible. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, do you ever have those thoughts? Those thoughts have to come to you sometimes. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. You gotta be resentful a little bit of your kids every once in a while. I think part of any relationship, literally in any human relationship that's going to happen, you're going to develop resentments. The move is to like address them in real time. Figure out where it's coming from, what your part in it is. Turns out you usually have a part in it. In this case, in my niche example, your part of it would be all of it, because you are the parent, they are the child, and they don't know or care that they have snot on their nose. Your part of it would be that you are setting an unrealistic and completely insane, frankly, expectation of your toddler to know and care when their nose is runny. Crazy, crazy, crazy thing to expect. Right? And when you break down a feeling to where the root of it is, it becomes silly. Almost always. And that's really where true growth and healing happens, is when you start addressing things as they arise in your life, day to day, in real time. And you go, where does that come from? What's my part in it? And I should do that with my dogs. Let's do it right now. Where does my decreasing of love for my dogs because of things out of their control happen? Where does it originate? Well, it originates from the fact that I like my dogs fluffy, and I don't like to touch them when they are with burr. Right? And then also when they turn around and I see their assholes, I hate that. I hate dogs where you can see their asshole. I don't want that in my house. I just don't fuck with it. So 2 of my 3 dogs, you can't see their asshole. They got fur covering their ass. That's perfect. But the 3rd dog, you can see his asshole, man. And I don't appreciate it. I wish he would cover it up. I wish he would wear clothes like the rest of us. If I just came to you on this podcast every day and spread my ass, you'd probably have a problem with it too. So what's my part in it? My part in it is having realistic expectations that my dogs follow societal norms. Like how come they get away with it and I don't? You know? How come they could, just because he's cute and fluffy and adorable and wonderful and one of the best things that's ever happened to me? Just because of that, he gets to walk around butt ass naked with shit stuck to his ass. It's no good, bro. It's no fair. Cannot abide. Will not abide. So they got to get that taken care of. And I hope to, next time I pet the dog, I need to see some improvement. I need to see no burrs, no poop ass. Yeah, he's got to figure it out. You know what's funny? I am obviously totally kidding. I'm going to wash the dog, and I will wash the dog, and I will cut the poop off the butt. You have to cut it. You have to cut it off. That's right. We're going to move on, but just so you know, you do have to cut it off. What I was going to say, though, is what's funny about the burrs thing is that he does actually, he does literally pull them out of his own fur. It's crazy. He can't reach the ones on his back, which is where you're petting. But sometimes we go to the ranch and he'll walk through a field of whatever, and he'll have them in his paws and stuff. And you're like, oh man, like, oh, I'm so sorry, buddy. And you do your best to get rid of them, and there's still like a couple of clingers in there. And then the next morning, they'll all be gone. So he'll spend like all night just going, like just pulling them out. It's crazy. So he'll do basically all 4 of his feet, and like anything he can reach with his mouth. He'll do his cock. He will do his cock. If he gets burrs on his cock, he will do that. And really, the only thing preventing him from autofellatio is the fact that well, he doesn't get boners anymore because of the fixing thing. I think some dogs still do get those even after you chop the balls off, but he's been fixed since like literally the day we got him. So I've never seen him with a red rocket. My God, nothing turns my stomach faster than a dog boner. It's really fucking disgusting. Whew. Imagine white women be all right, let's move on. Let's move on. Yeah, but the other thing preventing him from sucking his own cock would be his giant dog mouth. You can't really suck with that type of mouth. Or so I've been told. It is funny that I was just talking about how I try to keep it clean, keep it PG because of my place of employment, and we just did like 20 minutes on sucking and dog fucking and shit, and it's no good. Do you think I'll get fired because of this podcast eventually? I think it would have to get popular first. And then clips would be more available. Right now, I'm the one putting the clips out there, and that would be the only thing that my employers would ever see is the clips. So I just need to be careful about that. But then you want to show people what the podcast is, so you want to do like the funny stuff, and the funny stuff is typically a little dicey. So you're stuck in a conundrum. A conundrum. Okay, this is totally, yeah, fuck the anime. Yeah, but I didn't know about. My God, that Moana remake looks horrible. Horrible. Shockingly bad. It's, it really does amaze me that Disney seemingly does not care about clouding the waters of their IP and their brand image. They just don't care about making crap. Like remaking an actually good animated movie that came out very recently with lowest common denominator, genuine garbage. Like, won't your brand eventually get hurt if you just keep doing this? Won't it? It will, right? It seems like such a short-sighted decision to do this shit, man. It's possible they're doing it because nothing else is working. I've heard the parks are struggling. Are the parks struggling? I haven't heard that really. All I've heard is like murmurs that they're nickel and diming people and that the experience ain't what it used to be. I've never been to a Disney park, so I don't have any frame of reference. But from what I understand, that's the vibe. Their new IP? What new IP? Good question. What have they had recently? Anything? Have they had any new big hits since Frozen? Well, I can't think of anything. I'm certain I'm missing something. I'm like, Minions? No, that's not them. K-pop Demon Hunters? No, that's not them. Like, what the fuck do they have? What do they have? They actually have nothing. That company is going to implode, right? You're not building any loyalty from new people or the children of the people that love it now. Those kids aren't going to remember the Moana remake or the Lion King remake or whatever. Those movies are horrible. You need good movies. Okay, but then if you try, you take a gamble on new property and you put that out and it doesn't work, well, then you're in a hole. And, yeah, but that doesn't hurt your brand. Does it? Maybe it does. Flop after flop. Assuming, like, let's say you have 3 brand new IP ideas and you put them out one after the other and none of them work. They all flop. Would that hurt your eventual brand more or less than just regurgitating the same bullshit? I think less. I don't think people care about the flops or remember them really. What's that, the one where they go inside the human body? No one gives a fuck about that movie. Or like Wish. Remember Wish? No one gives a fuck about Wish. They just move on. You gotta keep trying stuff, dude. It's like you can't. That's like the one wrong answer is not trying. You guys are not trying right now. You're putting out, again, like, why? Okay, so all right. I'll meet you halfway. And say, all right, we're doing the remakes. Fine. They make money. People like them. They're totally non-offensive, and they're not hurting the brand. It'll be all whatever. I will agree with all those points except for the final one, and I will say, okay, we'll do the remakes, but you have to make them. You have to quality check them. You cannot just keep shitting out this garbage. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Did you have, there is real water that exists, right? You can go to an island and like shoot on an island in the sand with water. Why are we shooting everything on a soundstage? It looks like shit. Man. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson did one Oscar bait movie that he didn't get nominated for, and no one liked it, and so he decided to go right back to the big Hollywood system and keep churning out that garbage, brother. Churning out that slop. It's commendable. I respect it. The Too Many Movies guys had a great point, which is that it seems like Dwayne Johnson just doesn't like movies, doesn't care about movies. He's in it for the stardom. And like any vehicle that would help him achieve celebrity, he would have jumped on. He doesn't care about what he's making at all. He just wants to be famous. That seems to be the vibe. I mean, it makes sense, like, it's such a perfect comparison. Him versus Dave Bautista. They both have the same origin. WWE. They're both big, muscly guys. And they both went into acting. And one of them is in the Moana remake. And one of them is in fucking Blade Runner 2049. One of them is like, one of them, by the way, the Bautista like also played a big dumb guy in a series of films, but it was a big dumb guy with a genuine, beautiful heart and a tragic backstory, and there's so much again heart behind the eyes of Drax. It is even like his big dumb guy performance is layered and interesting, and it does seem like he doesn't take dumb bad scripts. He does interesting shit a lot. He also lost all the weight. Actually, they both kind of lost all the weight right around the same time. That was something that Batista said. Again, he's very cool and transparent in his interviews. He was like, you do not have any idea the toll it takes on the body to maintain this level of physique. He's like, it's like the challenger's line. He misses hamburgers or whatever. Yeah, dude. The constant physical, strenuous exercise and hitting your macros every day, 7 days a week, never faltering, one cheat meal a month. Yeah, it's just got to be brutal. You're probably working out at twice a day, 6 days a week. On your off day, you're like, you're not working out. You're just doing like a light workout. It's brutal. And you see those guys in the gym rat dudes, and they are always there. Especially if you're me, if you have like a weird schedule, sometimes I'll work mornings, sometimes I'll work nights, and you see those guys literally at all hours of the day. And they are there for 5 hours, I don't know about you. I'm in and out. You might have noticed you don't achieve this level of physique without the most intense and dialed in gym regimen. And I'm no different. I am him. I'm that guy. And what I do is essentially 40 minutes of lifting and 20 minutes of cardio, and then I leave. So I'm out in an hour. I'm out in an hour, sometimes shorter. And I it's just like, I don't like it. I do it because it makes me feel good, but I've never gotten to the point of, loving it, falling in love with it like those gym rat dudes have. I was hoping I would. I still eventually might. I'm not saying I will never, but it is a tough thing, bro. It's the problem with going to the gym all the time is that it you don't want it to do it. That's really what it comes down to, I just don't feel like it. The move is to only go when you feel like it. That's like my best advice. If you don't feel like going to the gym, don't go. Lay at home, dude. Eat a hamburger. They taste good. Gym, oh, they very good. You can't hardly eat nothing there. They've got those $5 protein shakes. Those are pretty good. They're pretty good, but burger better. I wanted to say rest in peace to Tay Keith. Oh, man. 2 big celeb deaths in 2 episodes. I should probably say 2 weeks. It's not like, there's no significance in that 2 celebrities have died in 2 Slop Chop episodes in a row. What I meant to say is that two musicians, like incredible musicians, have died very recently. Tay Keith, the producer. Tay Keith, F these N-words up, that guy. Incredible, astonishingly talented and versatile hip-hop producer. Has just an unholy amount of bangers under his belt. And he died, man. He died some shitty, stupid death. I think he overdosed. He was found dead. Found dead in Nashville at 29. Yeah, big Drake collaborator. Blockboy JB. Key Glock. Nicki Minaj. Who else? 6ix9ine, Lil Yachty, Lil Baby. Tons of freaking people, bruh. Oh, he did Over the Top, one of my favorite freaking songs recently, dude. Over the Top featuring Drake by Smiley. Unbelievable freaking song. Yeah, incredible roster. Truly rest in peace too. One of the best. He helped coin or popularize the current sound of hip hop, dude. Like the way hip hop sounds right now. That's kind of him. Sicko Mode, his most famous song. I read a comment one time that this is the Bohemian Rhapsody of our generation, which I think is a good comparison, actually. the multi-layered, this like the super long, the beat switches and stuff. It's also crazy when people die who are famous and younger than you. This guy's 29. He was born in 96. I was born in 94. Crazy career. Did most of this stuff in his 20s. That is like pretty common with musicians, I feel. The bright flame that extinguishes early. Maybe not even extinguishes, but there's so many musicians who do all like 90% of their work in their 20s, bro. I'm like, I wasn't doing shit in my 20s. I did nothing, bro. Nothing of substance. I wasted a decade for the most part, bro. I got a college degree, I guess. That's about it. I skated by and cheated and bullshitted my way through college and got a degree. Other than that, I don't have much to point at. And like people are just driven, man. How are you driven as a 17-year-old to know exactly what you want to do? You just know exactly what you're going to do and you go do it that young? You don't have to flounder for a decade? I'm one of the flounderers, brother. I'm a proud flounderer. I don't know about proud, but I am. Forced to accept my floundering, you know? So rest in peace to Tay Keith, dude. Truly impressive resume. What have I been watching, Sloppers? I'm glad you asked. It's been a while. It's been a couple weeks since I've done a What Have I Been Watching segment for some reason. I don't know why exactly. I rewatched Eddington. Eddington, Ari Aster's most recent film. It is about 2020. It was released in 2025. People love this movie, or they hate this movie. I don't. This. If someone came up to me and told me that Eddington was genius, I would believe them. And I do believe them when they say that. People have come up to me and said that, and I believe them when they say it. People are saying it's like the most timely, you know, it's like the first modern film. First movie about this modern era that we're living in, and the conflict, the division, the screens, the fact that there's no communication in the film. The fact that big data centers are really the ultimate winners always, and that they're like driving a wedge between us intentionally, and it's always like shadowy cabal governments and corporate interests that will rule the day. You got a lot of themes going. My problem is that it's an excruciating watch, and I don't enjoy watching the movie at all. I really, really struggle sitting through it. It's like tough sit. And isn't art supposed to disturb the fucking gay and fuck the ones that are straight? Yes, it is. Whatever. But I don't. Life is short. And if I want to be disturbed, I'll watch a horror movie. This is like an uncomfortable cringe sort of disturb. And I just don't have any. I don't have any space in my psyche for that shit. I just don't care enough. You're right. You're right that we suck, and you're right that humans are fragmented, but I get plenty of that in real life, and I don't need to see it on screen. I just don't. I don't need it. Don't want it. Don't need it. But again, if you came up to me and told me it was genius and that I was an asshole for not fucking with it, I'd be like, all right, yeah, sure. You're right, bro. You're right. You win. Congrats. I agree with you completely. I can't sit through it. It's like, again, it's borderline excruciating. 2 out of 5 for me on the rewatch. It went down to a 2. Couple great scenes in the movie and tons of themes. It is not hurting for themes. As a matter of fact, it's overstuffed. I appreciate Ari Aster still. I will watch whatever that dude does for the rest of time. He has 2 incredible movies under his belt. A third being like a noble failure, and 4 being interesting, overstuffed, miserable, but poignant. Is that fair to say? So he's not out here doing nothing. He's fucking swinging, dude. He's aiming for the fences, and sometimes he hits. I would love for him to go back to horror. It seems like he's done with it. I've heard his next movie is like, some like a cheating woman does a thing, or I don't know what the deal is, but he seems to be like done with horror. He's done. He's made his mark, and he's doing other shit now. But I would love for him to go back and just make Hereditary again. Just give me Hereditary 3. We've gotten Hereditary 1 and 2. They're both great. Give me Hereditary 3. So, maybe he will. But Eddington is fucking brutal. Couldn't do it. I rewatched Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I think... So, okay, I rewatched both these movies and thanks to Letterboxd, I know exactly how many times I've seen both of them. I've seen them both 4 times. I love these movies. They are absolutely incredible. Like, astonishing. They are astonishingly animated. The best looking animation that exists. Period. And the story is incredible. I was so blown away by the connections they made to the first movie in the second movie. Like, it all just works so fucking well. The reason that I watched them is because I was planning on making a video about the hit to miss ratio for the jokes. Because the way I remember the second one, especially, I was like, that movie is awesome, but the jokes are holding it back from being like a genuine masterpiece. Like, the jokes are really, really bad, and they are pulling the whole project down. And so that was my thesis going in. I rewatched the first one, and I was like, well, my thesis doesn't work really, because the jokes in this are good, and they're not hurting my experience at all. Even the not great ones are not hurting my experience at all. So I guess I could go through with a fine-tooth comb and figure out but they're not dragging the movie down. But I was like, but the second one for sure, I remember it being rough, like the writing being really annoying. So I go back and watch the second one, and my thesis fucking crumbled, dude. Like, the jokes are not that bad. There's a handful of stinkers, but the way I remember it in my head, I was like, it was like an orgy of bad material, where like every 13 seconds there would be another bad joke. That's simply not the case. It's simply not the case. There's, again, a handful. Like, there's a couple of really bad ones in the Indian sequence. But dude, for the most part, it's like just good. It's just fucking great, actually. And so I threw out the whole video idea. I had a couple pages of a script written. I was taking notes while I was watching these movies, and I just halfway through the second one, I was like, all right, like, it's just not. I was wrong, and so I will, instead of coming to the conclusion in the video that I was wrong, there's no video to be had, because my thesis is again simply incorrect. So rip to that video, but it is fun to be thinking about making videos again. Perhaps I will get around to making one eventually. Aha. What else did I say, sloppers? Lastly, Disclosure Day. Holy shit. Disclosure Day. You have to see this movie. You have to see it. It is the dumbest, the dumbest, most poorly written plot I've seen in so long, but like hilariously dumb, not frustratingly dumb. I was laughing so hard at the stuff in this movie. There is some completely insane, ridiculous, poor screenwriting. And the interesting part is that there is all this dumb shit mixed in with genuine excellent scenes. So like you'll have an incredibly staged and blocked Spielberg oneer, you know, with like 15 different characters that all move positions perfectly, and it's all like the reflections in the glass, and it's just like stunning. And then you'll cut to Josh O'Connor escaping an entire like an elite task force full of FBI officers by tiptoeing next to him. Or like, yeah, I won't spoil it, but there's, especially in the later half of the film, second half of the film, some of the dumbest shit I've ever seen, but so funny, so funny. I was dying in the theater, and we were the only assholes laughing, I think, like my friends and I, at the dumb shit. But my friends they walked out and they said, like, that movie sucked ass. And I was like, dude, what are you talking about? I have not experienced that much joy in some time. That's the hardest I've laughed in a theater in years, literal years. I was like, there's no possible way I can rate a thing poorly when I like it put a smile on me. I was smiling the whole time. It gets boring right in the middle for, I would say, 15 minutes, but all of the rest of it is balls to the wall. It's either hilariously stupid or genuinely interesting. And it switches between these two modes over and over and over again. It's awesome. I cannot recommend it highly enough. This guy, David Koepp, the writer, perhaps like the most hot and cold screenwriter of all. Like it really does feel like you're just flipping a coin with this guy. And like one side of the coin says heater and the other one says diarrhea. And he just like, he's about to start the script and he just, it flips in the air and it lands on the table and he goes, all right, another shitty one. It's just so weird. Like, he's written some fucking bangers, man. He did Black Bag last year. Black Bag is one of the tightest screenplays I've seen in some time. Like, what? How did this happen? So, shouts out to David Koepp, a true professional in that he's working a lot. He's got a new movie like every freaking couple of weeks, seemingly. So, shouts out to that. Shouts out to this guy working. But yeah, it is actually impossible to predict. It is as if you're playing roulette. Rowlet? It's 2:30 in the morning. I truly don't know what the name of the thing is. What's the red and red? Put it all on red. That one. Roulette. I'm gonna die before knowing this. I'm gonna go to sleep tonight before knowing this answer. Okay. Let's wrap it up. It's bedtime. Sloppers, I'm moving soon, which I'm excited for. I'm going to look at places tomorrow, which I'm looking forward to. And I will be eventually moving this studio, which will be exciting. And then I'll have like my plan is to make a legit like 3-camera podcast setup in my new place. So look forward to that, man. Thank you guys for listening. It truly means the world to me that anyone listens to this thing. Thank you guys for not, shitting on me too hard with the Oliver Tree stuff last week. And thank you guys for all that you do for me. I love you very much. I will see you in 7 days' time. Godspeed. Goodbye.